Suppose you're driving on the road and suddenly a police officer signals you to pull over your car. You didn't violate any traffic law or committed any other crime, but you're still going to be questioned.
See your driver's license, please.
Yes, sir. Can I ask what you pull over for?
As you stop the car, the officer comes to you and the first thing he claims is that he smells weed in your car. You've never seen weed in your life, but you're still in trouble. What should you do? If you don't know your legal rights in this situation, then it might turn against you and even get you arrested. Well, you definitely don't want that. So let's take a look at 5 effective tips to deal with officers demanding to search your car because they smell weed in it. Tip number 1. Stay calm and cooperate with the necessary identification. Is the smell of weed enough probable cause for the cops to search your car during a busy traffic stop? Well, the answer to this question is kind of tricky. It depends on various factors like the state you live in, the law of marijuana in that state, and the situation in which the police caught you. The first thing you must know is whether the weed is legal or illegal in your state. If it's legal, like in the state of Maryland and Colorado, then you don't have to worry. However, if it's illegal in your state, such as Texas, Michigan, or Florida, then there can be enough probable cause for the cops to investigate you. So, what do you do in this situation? Whether it's illegal or legal, make sure to stay calm and polite throughout your encounter with the police officer. When the cop comes to you, just roll down your window a little and hand over the necessary documents. They may ask for your ID, driver's license, car registration, insurance, or sometimes your other personal information, as this officer is doing in this video.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Well, all the
Supervisor?
No. No, you can contact one by phone.
But if I'm requesting a supervisor, you denying?
I can give you the contact phone number for the sheriff's office. Absolutely. It's every...
Police officers check your documents, verify them in their car, and come back to you. All of a sudden, he asks you a question. Do you have weed in your car? Because I'm smelling burnt marijuana. If you don't have weed in your car, you could just simply say, "Officer, I do not have weed in my car and nobody has smoked here ever." Make sure to be nice and polite. Maintaining a calm and polite posture prevents you from escalating the situation. Remember, the first thing officers note is your behavior. Any wrong movement can make them suspicious, and they can arrest you under the guise of officer safety. Tip number 2. Do not engage in talk and verbalize your right to remain silent. The second golden suggestion for you is to never engage in any unnecessary friendly conversation with police officers. When they stop you, just give your documents to them like this lady's doing in the footage and don't answer any irrelevant questions.
I have not done anything wrong.
Cops actually use different tactics to come and talk to you to find enough probable cause against you. In the case of marijuana, officers have canine units near every traffic stop, especially in states where marijuana is illegal. So police officers try to engage you and talk long enough to buy them time for their drug dog or canine unit to come and search your car for any trace of weed.
Every Monday, canines and their handlers from 16 police departments in Maine meet up for training.
They may ask you any type of irrelevant questions like where you're going, from where you're coming, and whether you have any marijuana in your car. So what should you do in this situation? Do you have to answer any of these questions? Well, absolutely no. Here you can exercise your Fifth Amendment right to stay silent. This law states, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, where in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Essentially, it means silence is golden. Cops can't hold against you in court of law if you don't speak. And one more thing, just staying silent while cops are asking you questions doesn't automatically state your Fifth Amendment right for you. Instead, the police might use it against you in court for not cooperating in an attempt to prove you guilty. Therefore, always verbalize your rights. You must say, "Officer, I plead with my fifth to remain silent and I do not wish to answer any questions." Just watch this footage where IRS official Lois Lerner is invoking her Fifth Amendment right in front of a committee.
And while I would very much like to answer the committee's questions today, I've been advised by my counsel to assert my constitutional right not to testify or answer questions related to the subject matter of this hearing. After very careful consideration, I've decided to follow my counsel's advice and not testify or answer any of the questions today.
You have to do the same thing in front of cops. Tip 3. Do not consent to search, but if they force you to search, don't fight back. This is where it's going to get interesting, because what if a police officer claims to search your car because they smell something like weed? Here, you must know whether marijuana is legal or illegal in your state. If it's illegal, then you can't fight back against the search. According to the Supreme Court, in states where marijuana is illegal, a whiff of pot is enough probable cause to search the car. Cooperate with a police officer whether you have marijuana in your car or not. Otherwise, they'll have a reason to arrest you. So don't fight on the road even if you don't have any weed in your car. You can use it against the cops in court. But what happens if you have illegal weed in your car? Well, cops will definitely arrest you. In this situation, you need to know your Miranda rights. Officers must state it to you, otherwise you can vocalize your rights and practice them while getting arrested or interrogated. Watch this footage to know how you and the officer should state Miranda rights.
All right, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of these rights I have explained to you?
But what if marijuana is legal in your state and a police officer still demands to search your car? Should you let them search your vehicle? Well, here the situation can be a little tricky. You can use your Fourth Amendment right for unreasonable search. This law of the U.S. states, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath of affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Using this right, you can say, "Officer, I do not consent to search." But if they still want to conduct an illegal search, let them do it. You can't prevent an illegal search just because you have the right. You can definitely claim it later in court, but now is not that time. Don't consent and do what you're told. Tip number 4. Ask the officer for leave. The next situation is going to be a bit tricky. Suppose cops have stopped your car on the road and engaged in a conversation, trying to buy enough time until their drug dog comes in and checks your car for weed. You must be feeling helpless and unable to understand what to do. Here you can do one thing. Ask the cops for leave. You can ask, "Officer, am I free to leave?" Officers can't detain or stop you for long, according to the Supreme Court. Any prolonged traffic stop that is not necessary is illegal. Now, when you ask the police officer to leave, they have to answer. If they say yes, just stay silent, roll back your window, and drive away. But if they say no, then it can be considered an illegal prolonged traffic stop, which you or your attorney can use later in court under the motion to suppress rule. Motions to suppress evidence are generally based on constitutional grounds, citing that the evidence, though relevant, was obtained improperly. It works to you and your benefit in court. Tip number 5. Record the cops. We've discussed this in the third tip, that you could practice the Fourth Amendment right to protect yourself from illegal search of your car. But if cops violate your rights or misbehave, you could practice your First Amendment right. What is this right? Well, it highlights, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridge the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right to the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. It means you can record the police officer on duty if they act under the color of law. To record, politely state, "Officers, I think my rights are being violated and I'm exercising my right to record the situation." Cooperate throughout the illegal investigation and record while maintaining your respect towards police officers. Remember, no cop can violate your rights as long as you're recording, but if they do, make sure to keep your recording safe. Later on, you and your lawyer can use that recording in court. So what are your thoughts on these 5 tips? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.